beneath the ice, beneath the pine. I know the rhythm keeps the time, drumming the earth, breath in the stone. This northern land is not alone. From tundra bare to cedar line, from prairie gold to granite spine, where northern lights in silence bend and winter never meets its end.
There's something about deep water that unsettles people. Maybe it's because we can't see the bottom. Or maybe it's because on some level we know something's down there. Something big. Some say it's just a log. Others say it's a sturgeon. But the people who live along Okanagan Lake know better. Because out there, something is always watching from beneath the surface. They call it the Ogopogo. You weren't planning to stay out this long. It just happened. The water was calm earlier. The kind of calm that makes everything feel safe, peaceful even. The shoreline was still visible then, lit up with soft gold as the sun dipped behind the mountains surrounding the lake. But now it's gone. You didn't notice when it disappeared. That's the worst part. 1 minute you could still make out the trees, the shape of land, something familiar. And the next, there's nothing. Just water, dark, endless, and silent in a way that feels wrong. The motor hums beneath you, low and steady. But even that sound feels swallowed out here. Like it's not carrying the way it should. Like the lake itself is absorbing it. You ease off the throttle just for a second. And the moment you do, everything stops. No wind, no movement, and no sound but your own breathing. The lake goes flat, not calm, flat. Like glass poured out in every direction. You feel it before you see anything. A shift under the water. Subtle, but heavy. Like something beneath you just changed its position. Your boat rocks once, soft and controlled, but you stumble anyway. Without thinking, you lean over the side. The water is so dark, it almost reflects you back. For a second, all you see is your own shape, distorted in the surface. Then something passes underneath again, silent and deliberate. As your eyes adjust, it comes into focus. Thick. Unnaturally thick. Its body stretches on and on beneath the water. Dark green with a bluish-gray sheen that catches the fading light, slick like wet stone. Multiple humps rise and fall in perfect rhythm, moving with a purpose that makes your stomach drop. And then its head lifts, horse-like, but not quite. Small, twisted antlers curl from its skull, subtle but unmistakable. Its eyes meet yours, pale amber, faintly glowing like lanterns in the deep. Intelligent and aware, measuring whether you belong here. Along its neck, faint fins ripple in the water, aiding its impossible fluid-like grace. Its tail arcs beneath the surface, propelling the creature forward like the lake itself has taken form. Every movement is controlled and precise. It circles, it watches, It waits. Out here on this vast, dark water, you are not the one in control. Ogopogo isn't a legend that began as a monster story. That came later. The earliest accounts come from the indigenous peoples who have lived alongside the lake for generations. What they describe isn't something to hunt, study, or prove. It's something that exists as part of the lake itself. They call it Nayik. Less an animal and more a presence, tied to the water, the surrounding land, and the life within it. You acknowledge it or you take a risk. People approach the lake carefully, leaving offerings at the shoreline, not out of fear, but as recognition of the spirit that guarded it. Later, when settlers arrived, the stories were retold through a different lens. They were the ones that changed its name to Ogopogo. This made it easier to digest, something curious for headlines or sighting reports. But the patterns didn't disappear. Water conditions could shift without warning. Strong, localized disturbances. Because this isn't something that hunts you. It shares the space and reacts when that space is treated like it belongs to someone else. One of the most famous sightings happened in 1926. 30 or more people witnessed this. Drivers along the shoreline stopped one after another, all staring at the same point in the water. At first, it was just movement. Then the shape became clearer. A series of humps rising and falling in sequence, moving across the lake as if it had somewhere to be. Too large to be animals swimming together, and too coordinated for random waves. People watched for minutes. No splashing, no sudden movement. Then gradually it vanished. The water flattened out, and whatever had been there disappeared beneath the surface. For the Syilx people, the story goes deeper than sightings. There are legends of a man who committed an act so violent, so out of balance, that he was transformed. His body twisted into something long and serpentine, bound to the very place where it happened. Never released, never forgiven. From that point on, the lake changed. Crossing it became something you prepared for, leaving offerings of tobacco, food, or something of value. The understanding was clear. The lake listens, and if that presence is ignored or the balance disrupted, the response doesn't come as a warning. It comes as the water itself. The lake has always been alive, deep, wide, old, carrying centuries of stories, whispers, and warnings. At its heart sits Kelowna. Sunlit streets and crowded waterfronts, vineyards stretching toward the mountains. A city that never really sleeps, because here, the outdoors isn't just a backdrop. It's something people are drawn to. Something that calls them out again and again. One of the oldest pieces in the city's public art collection sits along the downtown waterfront in Carey Park, the Ogopogo statue. Painted fiberglass brings the lake monster to life, a visual anchor to the centuries of stories beneath the waves. Framed by the sparkling water and distant mountains, the statue embodies the bond between city and lake. Kelowna doesn't just tell the story of Ogopogo. It preserves it, honors it, and acknowledges that some spirits, no matter how old or hidden, deserve reverence. These stories have lasted not because people expect to see a giant serpent rise from the lake. They endure because water itself holds memory, and the creature that dwells within it is a reminder of what happens when balance is ignored. So when a sudden ripple appears where none should be, when wakes move against the wind, remember, it's likely something older, patient, and far beyond your control. Next week, we travel east to Quebec, where lanterns flicker in the night, carrying whispers, laughter, and screams. And if you stare up too long, you might go along for a ride you never return from. This has been What Lurks North. Stay safe out there.